Hello everybody, here we are today talking about the Edmonton Oilers, the fact that their penalty kill has been abysmal to kick off the season, just getting into it a little bit. So before we get started, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or hockey, whatever the case may be. That being said, let's get on into it. So I do want to say that these notes were taken before the Thursday night games, and this is getting put out Friday, so it may not be completely up to date, but I do feel like there are some things that we could look at here and see that are important, and looking obviously right now at the talk around the town, or on the town if you will, the Edmonton Oilers on the PK certainly are not looking good. In fact, they are tied with the Boston Bruins for the most goals allowed on the PK this year with 15. There's just kind of one issue there. Boston has played 95 minutes on the PK. Edmonton has played 55, so about half the time, but still the same amount of goals allowed. That is a big issue. You look at the fact that they have the highest goals against per 60, understandable considering how things have gone for them. That's when things kind of get a little bit weird though. You look at the fact they have the third lowest expected goals against per 60, and now we get to dive on into the weeds and see exactly what's going on here. And if we're being honest, a big thing right now is that their goalies are not doing very well. Looking at a guy like Stuart Skinner, who's very hot and cold, he is struggling on the PK. Out of the 41 goalies that have played 25 minutes or more with guys in the box, he ranks third worst for goals saved above average total. He has something like a .778 save percentage on the PK, but again, as time goes on, I think things will get better for him. But somebody that is struggling mightily at the moment is Calvin Pickard. He is the worst goalie literally in the league in terms of the PK percentage. You're looking at the fact that he is just abysmal right now, a .563 save percentage. He has the worst goals saved above average total and has allowed 7 goals on 16 shots when you're looking at the PK this year. And his worst night came over here, and if you're looking at this, it was the game against Chicago. The Hawks ended up going perfect 3 for 3 in that game, and this is a game Edmonton probably should have gone out there and won most nights, but they didn't. And I know we can probably go out there and defend him a little bit and say, well, it's okay because, you know, the Oilers didn't do a good job clogging passing lanes, and there was a one-timer on one of those power play goals where you could say not a lot of goalies would have been able to stop that shot. And I kind of get that, but at the same time, too, Pickard has struggled. He has just had one game where he hasn't allowed a goal on the PK, and it's not like he is facing a lot of quality chances. In fact, you are looking at a guy that is facing maybe more shots, but not quality chances, and he is not giving a bunch of rebounds. There's not one of those second chance opportunities or anything like that. It's just very weird because he is struggling. I know you may not consider him an elite goalie, but it is not a good look to be in the spot he's in at the moment, especially when you look at the fact that the Oilers don't spend a lot of time with guys in the box, don't allow a lot of quality chances, and are trying to do their best to make sure their goalies can benefit from this. I know that not all of this can be, wrapped up to just them struggling on the PK. They have had some things that have not gone their way to kick off the year. Zach Hyman's got off to a slow start, although again, that's kind of attributed to the team. Connor McDavid's been battling an injury, he's coming back early. And then Evander Kane, I don't think has played at all for them this season. Those are things that clearly aren't helping the team at the moment, but still, when you look at a lot of these things and say, oh, this one wrong, or this one wrong, it might not be totally in your control, whereas the PK is. And when you understand this team has played 14 games, they've allowed goals on the PK, and 11 of those, they've had multiple games where they have allowed like 2 or 3 goals on the PK, and this club has just got to get things figured out, because when it comes down to it, you want to be able to go to the playoffs, and I'm not sure that a team that is historically bad on the PK this year is going to say that they can be that side. When you're looking at this too, Sportsnet said that they have the third worst PK percentage, or on pace for that by the end of the year. Clearly, while a lot of things can go wrong for a team, and you can talk about that for a video over the course of a season, having the third worst PK percentage in the entirety of the NHL certainly would be something you'd say, yeah, that's probably why we didn't go on to make the playoffs. And when a third of your goals allowed are coming off the PK, again, it's pretty easy to say this is an issue, but I still feel like there are a couple reasons to be pretty optimistic for this team going forward. One, I just really don't think that their goalies can be that bad for the course of the season. You understand that while there can be ruts, to be historically bad for the course of the year would take a historically bad year. And I just don't see this team being capable of doing that, especially when you look at the fact this team has really got good results in front of them. The goalies just have to be a little bit better, and we'll see how things kind of play out there. Also, you look at the fact too, this team had the best PK percentage for the playoffs last season and nearly propelled them into winning the Stanley Cup. They might be able to catch fire again and say, yes, we are able to be a better team, maybe not the best team, but a better team on the PK. Then you look at the fact too that some teams really are sputtering out at the moment. I think that the Calgary Flames might be losing a little bit of steam. Yes, they've won 2 out of their past 3 games, but when you look at a broader stretch of play, they've kind of been losing a little bit of momentum. And then the Utah Hockey Club, I really do think, is not ready there to be a playoff side just yet. Might have to worry about a team like St. Louis, but in general, I still feel like this Edmonton side is definitely worthy of being a wild card team at the worst, and at the best being a top 3 team in the Pacific Division. Then when you look at the fact that Connor McDavid is coming back from that injury earlier than expected, even if he's not 100%, he's still going to be McDavid. So for this side, I just would imagine that they can't be looking at this and saying, yeah, we're going to go out there and be the 1977 Minnesota Wild or worse. They're going to level things out, because for me, when I look at things at the end of the day, there shouldn't be a very big gap between the best and worst teams on the PK every year, mainly because defensive play should be a little bit more consistent, whereas it's more there should be a bigger gap between teams for the power play because they are a more gifted team offensively. We talked about that extensively. I really don't think there should be a bigger difference between 5 to 7%, and with Edmonton's PK being below 60% in terms of success rate by the end of the year, there's just no way, right? I mean, maybe 75%, 74% on a bad year, but if they could call it up to about 77%, that's going to make a difference for a team that can go out there and score a lot of goals, and they're going to rebound, they're going to be all right. I mean, I think they're pretty close to being at a point per game pace, so yeah. If they continue this path and still make the playoffs, it would be kind of funny. And then, of course, they'd lock in for the playoffs, and then everybody would be like, where was this coming from? Calvin Pickard would be that go-to. But I still think at the moment, again, probably on shaky ground a little bit if you're looking at a guy like Pickard, or just the goalie situation in general, as the coaches really aren't sure what's going to happen come playoff time when you play a good playoff team and you say, Stuart, are you feeling good? If Stuart's struggling, you're surely probably not going to go out there and say, Pickard, how are you feeling tonight? You might roll the dice, but we'll see. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the Edmonton Oilers this season? Why do you think the PK's been so bad? Is it all on the goalies? Is it partially on the guys in front of them? Let me know your opinion down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. And Eagle of Hockey, all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.